So this is the season 2 finale of How to Get Away with Murder, and the episode is entitled Anime. So the episode actually starts off with everyone being at the house except for Annalise, of course, because she's at her mother's house, and they're trying to figure out why the hell did Annalise bounce, and Laurel figures, crap, maybe it was because of what I said. So she pulls Frank to the side. Frank's probably thinking, oh, we can finally talk about our relationship. No, we're not defining the relationship. I need to define and let you know the fact that I slipped and accidentally told Annalise that you were the one who killed Lila. Yeah, my bad. And Bonnie was just like, okay, so what's going on here? So Annalise is at home and her sister is there. And it's just like, well, you know, it's nice having you home. It's been a long ass time. Her mom was like, get your ass up. You're gonna go and greet our guests because they all were so excited to hear that you were back. So we're having a party, put on that fake smile, work the room, and let's get on with it. So it was crazy because remember Annalise's mom came to the house and I believe it was after Sam originally died, and she got a bunch of Sam's belongings. Annalise was looking at one of her, I believe, cousins or something like that, and she realized, what the hell? Why does that suit look familiar? It looks familiar because it was Sam's. Her mom gave that man Sam's suit. And I was just like, Annalise, don't have a panic attack. Do not have a panic attack. Just breathe. Just breathe. And Annalise went into the room, into the kitchen to just have a moment. And her mom was there cooking. It's just like, you know, Mom, it's just nice being home, getting away from all of it. Or maybe, and then tragedy struck because her father came in. Her father was waiting outside. And long story short, her father has been having a relationship with the mom again ever since Annalise was shot, because that shook the mom, and so the father was there to console her. And you know how that goes. You know how that foolishness goes. Annalise is absolutely over it. She hates her father because of the fact that he bounced. He bounced and wasn't there for her. Now remember when Frank had sex 10 years ago with that woman at the bar? Well, that woman at the bar, if she looked familiar, of course she did, because she's actually a part of the whole billionaire trust fund, investment fund dude. You know, the guy who's actually Wes's father? Yeah, so she's working with him. She could be a family member or a lawyer. I'm not sure. I actually forgot. But she goes and it's like, I know who you are, Frank, and if you don't want things to happen to you, you're gonna go and do what I need you to do. Essentially, she's blackmailing Frank to go and put a listening device in Annalise's room in order for her to spy on her and to get the digs on what's really going on. And Frank does it. That is what Sam had. Like I said, what's his face goes ahead and does it. Frank does it. And afterwards, we have the situation where Nate wants to figure out where Annalise is. Of course, Bonnie knows where Annalise is. It's like, she's at her mother's house. That's where she's going to be. Everyone's bugging out because they're trying to think, alright, so what are they going to do? Because now there's also this situation of they're trying to go and convict Annalise. They're trying to arrest her. And no one can get into contact with her. So they're bugging out from that as well. Annalise is judging her mother like, how the hell are you canoodling with a man that wasn't there for you? And she was like, your father wasn't abusive. He just wasn't there. I'm like, what? Okay. Is that how that works? And her mom takes the phone away and it's like, yeah, you're not getting this back until this trip is over. And that's actually a very important thing because of the timing of when she gets the phone back. Wes and Laurel have this conversation of, okay, so what's going on? Wes goes and fills Laurel in on the fact that Annalise has informed him that, she's been trying to protect him this whole time because she feels guilty for the fact that his father is actually the hedge fund guy who was a part of the case that she was trying, that his mother was supposed to testify in. And so it was like, okay, how the hell did that happen? Well, if she was right, this was like, okay. So it's like, what's your game plan now? Well, I don't really have a game plan. I just don't know what to do. And Frank goes and breaks up the monotony of that. I was like, oh, so you two are screwing? It was like, look, we kissed once, get over it. I'm like, okay, is that how these things work? Is that how these things work? Nate pops up, and the whole family's just like, ooh, ooh, Nate, ooh, a man. So they invite Nate in, and Annalise can't do a damn thing about it because they're just happy. It's like, oh, you went on back to the other side. That's not what they said, but I'm sure that's what they were thinking. Come on now. Let's stop faking the funk here. What's his name? Frank goes and he takes the money. Frank has done the deed and he feels guilty-ish about it, but it was just like, look, she has some information on me and she's willing to pay me, and Annalise isn't appreciative, so let's just go with that as of now. Frank in present day is looking at the money, and of course it was very important how they showed us where he placed it, and that was one of the last things that he looked at before what happens. Now, Michaela and Asher do it again. Long story short, they do it again. Well, actually, no. It looked like they were going to do it again. But Michaela's like, no, this can't happen. This cannot happen. At least not under their roof. This cannot happen. So Annalise and Nate are there eating dinner with the family. And it was just odd because they were trying to vet Nate out and see what he's all about. And Nate could hang, and Annalise was more so the one that was trying to hold Nate back. It was like, look, don't really interact with them. But Nate was cool about it. And so it was like, oh, so you married? It was like, oh, Will. It was like, oh, okay, so single. And it was like, you have any kids? It was like, oh, so who's the guy, who's the gals that are knocking at your door? And it's like, well, you know, there's a few. It just be like that sometimes. And so Annalise is just like, oh, this is all cute and all, but this crap needs to stop pretty soon. So everyone devises a plan of, well, actually before all that, Annalise is over it because she goes and harps on the fact that it's like, well, you know, speaking of kids, it's not like you were there as far as her father. And her mom jumps in trying to defend her father. In doing so, she hurts Annalise because it was like, well, you know, you never had kids with Sam, so you never even tried. What's wrong with that? A career woman can have kids that can balance it all, so what's wrong with you, essentially? And that pissed me off because we know what happened. Annalise never told her mom the fact that she was even pregnant. I mean, this is a really messed up individual that we're actually dealing with. So Bonnie and Frank are sharing the flask because Bonnie realizes that she's not dumb. She connected the dots that because of Frank, all this crap is actually happening as far as the stuff with Wes, Annalise getting hurt, the baby being lost. She's like, so you're going to have to tell Annalise. And once you do, that's it. It's done. It's a done deal. The done. After that, Annalise talks with her mom and just says, you know what? I was pregnant, but not anymore. Lost the baby. And of course, her mom just has this look of, Schmur? Because she never even told her mom that she was pregnant. So she's still just flabbergasted. So Nate goes and leaves, and Annalise's mom was over it. It was just like, how could you keep something like this from me? How could you possibly keep something like this from me? And again, everyone's trying to hatch a plan because Annalise is in trouble. They're like, how the hell can we spin this? They're going to try and charge Annalise, so they're giving her a call. And the tracker, the spy comm that was put in Annalise's room worked very well. And as a result, they heard the fact that, oh crap, they're going to go and try to pin it on the people that they were actually defending. So, of course, they couldn't have that happen. Absolutely couldn't have that happen. So they had to take Annalise out of the equation. And that's how I knew, because I was like, when I was watching it, I knew Annalise was going to get hit. Because I'm like, how did she lose the baby? It must have been an accident at this point. It must have been an accident at this point. I was like, why are they showing the car in the window like that for so long? And so many times that they cut right back to it. It's like, oh, she's going to get hit. And she does get hit. And we see that. But what we didn't know, even well, I actually knew, and I said in my previous video, I was like, watch, that was a setup. And it was. They purposely hit Annalise. She lost the baby. And that took her out of commission for the case. And so the case went cold. And so that's how they literally got away with murder, so to speak. Oliver is going and doing his hacking skills and is trying to figure out who the hell is the mole. Who's the mole that's trying to snitch on Annalise? And they find out who it is. You will never guess who it is. Caleb. Caleb wasn't kidnapped. He went MIA. He was in police custody because he was trying to pin everything on Annalise. Caleb, you sneaky bastard. And Annalise's mom wakes her up and it's like, look, you're going to go and give your baby a homegoing service. And you're going to bury him in the backyard. And put his name on here. Put the letter of, write this letter of everything you felt. Bury it and be done. Move on. You were act so strong, but you do need people. And that's the problem. You're not willing to let people help you and accept help. So Annalise's father gives her back her phone, and it's just like, he tried to reconcile with Annalise, but Annalise wasn't having it. She was like, look, you are who you are. You're only there because you want something. And he was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Your mother is there for me. It's a cold world out there, and I'm older, I'm lonely, and like I said, she is the one person who's always there for me. And so it's like, look, just be gone, because I know you'll eventually leave once you find something else of interest. And Annalise is going and listening to all the voicemails that she's hearing. And Michaela calls her, and Michaela was just like, you know what, Annalise, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry because of the fact that, you know what happened? You know what happened, Annalise? I'm so sorry, Annalise. It was actually Caleb. Caleb tricked us, and he used all the information that we gathered in the case against us, and that's how it happened. So Annalise goes and leaves, and her mom was like, look, you know, I'm getting up there in age, so the next time you come by, I might not be here, meaning she might be dead. So it's like, come by sooner, come back sooner, come home sooner. So she goes and meets with the DA, and this is why Annalise is such a boss and such a boss character. Because Annalise flips the script as she always does. I was trying to figure out how the hell did she get away from Philip. That scene really didn't make much sense at all. Philip was saying how, I need your help. I'm not actually trying to attack you. It was Caleb. Caleb was the one that killed my parents, my incestuous parents. He killed my parents because he wanted to get the inheritance all to himself. He pinned it on his sister. In doing so, that allowed him to get away with murder. And now he's trying to pin the rest of it on you. Caleb had an incestuous relationship with his own sister. And the thing was, Philip had hacked his Fitbit, his fitness tracker. And so he had Caleb's exact locations and coordinates. And it matched perfectly with the areas where the parents were murdered. And remember, Catherine lied. She lied and said that, oh, Caleb was with her. But Caleb wasn't with her. And remember when we were like, oh, she lying, but then we were like, oh, maybe she's not. Because we were all convinced it was Philip, but not really, because it just seemed plopped in there. Well, Catherine was lying. Catherine was a virgin and is still a virgin, but what we didn't know is Catherine and Philip were actually not Catherine and Philip. Catherine and Caleb had a relationship, and so that's why a sexual relationship, mine is full going all the way. So, and Catherine loved Caleb, and that's why she was willing to go and take the plea and say, oh yes, she was there with him, and oh yes, she was the one who killed him because she wanted to protect him, because she knew in her heart of hearts he did it, he killed them, because it was also true, meaning the maid, or was it their relative, who was like, oh, I saw them two together. You can't tell me that I didn't. Just because I may be drunk or whatever doesn't mean that I didn't see what I saw. And so she was right. We said she was crazy, but she wasn't. She absolutely wasn't. And to top it all off, they had Philip. So that was three things. Annalise had the evidence as far as the coordinates for Caleb being at the scene of the crime. Annalise had Catherine's confession. Annalise had Philip, who was willing to testify, saying that no, he didn't do it. That yes, he had a involvement to a certain degree. So everyone's watching the TV like, damn, Annalise is good. This is how she flips it. That's why you don't flip on Annalise. And Caleb did the punk thing. I'm so pissed because Caleb did all of this just to go and kill himself in the end. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then it was weird because they almost made it seem like how Laurel was trying to find Frank, that maybe he did the same thing. But I'm like, no, that's not Frank's MO. That really isn't Frank's MO. So if we're trying to keep score, Frank has only killed one, maybe two people, at least as of recent. Oliver, see, this is why we like Oliver, because Oliver knows that it's better to stay there. Maybe not mentally, but in the long run, Oliver's like, I want excitement, I want adventure, and I'm not going to get it by going to a different school. So they both got accepted into the school that they were trying to move to. Was it Harvard? Whatever it was. But long story short, Oliver was like, yeah, sorry, but we're not going to go. We changed our minds, and take us off of the mailing list as well. And he deleted the emails. I was like, damn, Oliver. So aside from that, Bonnie went and spoke with Annalise. When she came back, was like, I know everything. I know Frank's involvement. I know it all. And Annalise is just like, I need a moment. And that's when we see that Sam used this to blackmail Frank into killing Lila later on. Because Sam was like, you're not going to tell Annalise. You're not going to tell her because, no, because at the end of the day, she's going to go and blame herself. She'll find a way to blame herself, to resent herself, and be resentful. And so you're not going to do that. But Annalise was pissed because it was like, if I knew that, that would have given me peace of mind. I was really thinking it was my fault the whole time. The whole time. And Sam and Frank did that to me. So screw both of them. Like I said, Laurel goes and tries to find Frank. And it's like, damn, he left in a hurry. You could tell. And Laurel was nervous because it was like, oh, Lord Jesus. Did Frank kill himself? Did Frank kill himself? No, Frank didn't kill himself. He left town. He left Dodge. He got the hell out of there. And how the show ended was epic because Wes gets on the plane, goes to New York, goes to see his father, and he speaks maybe 5 words, and someone goes and shoots his father. I'm like, now who do you think did that? It wasn't Frank. I'm like, technically a lot of people would have wanted to do it, but why would... Oh my god. I have a headache, y'all. So that was it. Empire's coming back March 30th. Scandal's still on, so I'm reviewing that. I also review the next 15. I also review... what else do I review? I review a lot of shows, so just subscribe. Subscribe. I used to go and just like record audio and have that playing in every video. Subscribe! So, yeah. Damn, who shot Wes's daddy? Now he doesn't have a mother or a father. Cold, cold world.